This tape got a Mafia Boss Life in prison. This is a story that you're going to want to hear all the way to the end, so stay tuned till the end. In 2018, the New York Police Department received an anonymous tip that was going to rock the world of crime. The caller informed them about a secret tape that had been lost for decades. And if what was on the tape was true, it would implicate one of the most powerful mafias in the United States. But why? What was on the tape? Why did they wait so long to tell the police? And who is the mafia boss? We're about to find out. Tipster told the police that he had the tape with him, and he wanted to meet with somebody before handing it over. Didn't want to give it to just anybody, only somebody he could trust. He asked for the meeting to be set up at the Carvel Ice Cream Parlor at 1070 West End Avenue. There was a reason he chose this place. It's right across the street from the 72nd Precinct Station House. When the police arrived, they were wary of who they were dealing with. They knew that this tape could change everything if it ended up being real. When they finally met with the man, he looked like a character out of a movie, wearing a leather jacket and a cowboy hat. But when they asked him about the tape, he became evasive and tried to back out of the deal, so the police didn't let him get away that easily. They insisted that he hand it over, and he eventually caved. The moment the tape was in their hands, they could sense that it was very important. They took it back to the station house where they watched it. Little did they know that it contained one of the biggest secrets in organized crime history. They learned that the man who made the tape was a former mafia captain. He had decided to go against his own kind after seeing how much destruction the mafia bosses had caused in their quest for power and money. He wanted to expose them for what they were, but he also knew that doing so would put his life in danger. He made the tape in the early 1980s, and it detailed the inner workings of the Genovese crime family. This family is one of the 5 major mafia families in the United States. The others are the Bonanno, Colombo, Gambino, and Lucchese families. The Genovese family has been involved in some of the most notorious crimes in history, including the assassination of a U.S. Attorney General. And now, this former mafia captain was going to reveal all of their secrets. But why did he decide to come forward after all these years? Well, it turns out he was dying, and he wanted to make sure that his legacy was undestroyed by the mafia bosses. In the tape, he explained how the mafia worked and who the bosses were. He also gave the police a list of names and numbers of other criminals in the organization. With this information, the police were able to break up many of the mafia family's operations. But it wasn't easy. The mafia bosses fought back hard, and they tried everything they could to stop the investigation. They intimidated witnesses, destroyed evidence, and even killed several people. But the police were determined to bring down the mafia once and for all. They used the information from the tape to build their cases, and they eventually arrested hundreds of mafia members. Among those arrested was a man named Anthony Etc. He was a high-ranking member of the Genovese crime family, and he was considered to be one of the most powerful mafiosos in the United States. He had been involved in some of the most heinous crimes, including racketeering, extortion, and murder. But thanks to the information on the tape, the police had enough evidence to charge him and put him behind bars. Anthony was shocked when he heard the news. He couldn't believe that someone would betray him and give his secrets to the police. He thought he was the most powerful man in the city and that nobody would dare cross him. But he was wrong. As it turned out, the man who betrayed him was a man named Sammy the Bull Gravano. He was a former mafia captain who had turned informant. He had been the one who made the tape all those years ago, and he had been waiting for the perfect moment to reveal it. He knew that if he gave the tape to the police, it would destroy the mafia, and he would become the most important witness in the history of organized crime. Anthony was furious when he found out who had betrayed him. He had been friends with Sammy for years, and he never thought he would turn on him. But Sammy didn't care. He was willing to do whatever it took to protect himself and his family. He knew that if the mafia found out he had betrayed them, they would kill him. So he went into hiding, and the police protected him. While he testified against his former friends, Sammy's testimony was so damning that it led to the arrest of hundreds of mafia members. Many of them were convicted and sentenced to life in prison, including Anthony Etc. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison, and he spent the rest of his life behind bars. It was the end of an era. The mafia had been weakened like never before, and the government was able to seize many of their assets. Sammy the Bull became a free man after his testimony, and he went on to live a normal life, even wrote a book about his experiences in the mafia. But not everyone was happy with how things ended. Some people argued that the government had violated the rights of the mafia, members by using illegal methods to gather evidence against them. They said that the police had coerced Sammy into becoming an informant and that they had tampered with the evidence. But the government denied these claims and said that they had done nothing wrong. They argued that they had followed the correct procedures and that they had obtained a warrant to bug Sammy's phone. They also said that they had not tampered with any evidence and that all of the arrests were based on solid evidence. The debate continues to this day, and there is still no clear answer as to whether the government acted within the bounds of the law. But one thing is for sure, the mafia was never the same again. They were broken and scattered, and the families have never been able to regain their former glory. The case of Sammy the Bull Gravano and the Genovese crime family is one of the most fascinating stories in organized crime history. It shows the lengths to which the mafia will go to protect their secrets and the lengths to which the government will go to bring them down. It is a story of betrayal, greed, and power, and it is a story that will continue to be debated for years to come. The tape that started it all is now in the possession of the FBI, and it is considered to be one of the most valuable pieces of evidence in the Bureau's history. The contents of the tape are still being analyzed, and new information is still being uncovered. Who knows what other secrets it holds? Maybe more than any other crime family, the Genovese crime family seems to always be at the center of attention. There are rumors that the family is far from being dismantled. Some believe that the family is simply laying low and waiting for the heat to die down. Others believe that the family has evolved and is now involved in white-collar crime. Only time will tell what the future holds for the Genovese crime family. What do you think happened to the Genovese crime family? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, be sure to check out the links in the description for more great videos. Thanks for watching. Till next time.